What if I told you that our fashion choices could actually help forensic investigators estimate time since death? What do I mean by that? Well, textiles and clothing materials have actually been a target area for archaeological research for many years now, as a means to reconstruct the history of human civilizations across the globe. Now, they do this by looking at the materials themselves, but also by looking at the residues trapped within them. So, lipids, for example, when somebody dies and the body breaks down, they get trapped within that material. And so lipids have proven to be incredibly useful because they can withstand really harsh environmental conditions, and they have been found to be preserved in the environment for over a millennia. We also know the way in which they break down over time. So let's bring that back to a forensic context where a lot of our victims are wearing clothing. And so when we do come across human remains, it's very common that they are in association with clothing. And that makes sense, right? Because we're all wearing clothing on a daily basis. And so if we know that these lipids can be trapped in textiles and that they can be preserved for many years, then why not use them as a means to map how long someone has been dead for and help assist police with that really important question, when did they die? And so that's what I'm doing in my work. Now, my work is conducted out of the Australian Facility for Taphonomic Experimental Research, also known as AFTA, which is a world-class facility that allows us to study whole human decomposition in a natural Australian environment. Now here I study how the body breaks down, and this breakdown process occurs immediately after the heart stops beating, and it continues up until all the soft tissue has been degraded. Now the timeline for this is really dependent on a range of intrinsic and extrinsic factors like climate and insect activity, but we do know that regardless of that, the macromolecules in the body, so the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the lipids, they start to break down and they're released into the immediate environment, into the clothing that someone's wearing. So that's what I take advantage of in my work. Now for my project, I clothe both pig and human remains on the soil surface out at AFTA, and I take my samples from the front and the back of the body over a decomposition timeline. Now the reason that I'm studying both pig and human remains is because pigs have been used a lot in the past as models for human decomposition due to legal and ethical restrictions, but we don't actually know if they are a good model just yet. Now, so far in my work, what I have found is that lipids in textiles allow me to indirectly monitor decomposition. I've also found some patterns and trends in the arrival and disappearance of certain lipid products that are related to time since death. I'm also seeing a notable difference between the rate and manner in which pigs and humans decompose. And so the end goal for my work is to continue this study of lipids in textiles so that I can map the timeline of death and answer that all-important question of when did they die?